So hello and welcome to episode 25 of the GearCity Let's Play Nightmare Down Under, where we play a Nightmare difficulty Down Under in Australia. We started in 1900, now it is April 1955, and we are in a quite luxurious position. So if we look at the list of vehicles that we have, everything is now post-war, and all except our microcar is from the last 5 years. So we are done with re-engineering from pre-war stuff. We also have consolidated everything down to 3 platforms, 3 engines, and 4 gearboxes. And one is sort of special again for the microcar. In the next month, we are going to get a factory upgrade in Melbourne, and that's a little bit needed since there are no production lines available, and the same applies to Sydney. So that's means we are doing pretty well. Also, our cash flow 2.8 million, we're also doing pretty well. So the question is, what to do next? Since there is no urgent need to give things an overhaul, maybe our microcar a little bit. So let's have a look at what the competition is doing and where we could maybe fill a hole in the market or something. So we have some competition. Epson and Michigan Motors from overseas, Hope C, who have bought a lot of marks and are actually pretty large at the moment, and Belt. So compact car, yeah, we own that market with our Wombat. There are 2 on the compact SUV market, which seems to be nicely satisfied. So I think 200, 150 is a good number for cars, but we don't think we would add a lot to enter that market as well. No compact van. No compact van. 1 coupe, and that sells pretty nicely, so that's something we could do. We own the 2+2 market. That was the last thing we now did, put the revamped Wateroo on the market. That's why there are no sales. We own the Ute market. There are a couple of fastbacks, and it's not the biggest market. Land O'Lay, yeah, no one wants that. Same for limousines. There are 4 luxury cars, so nothing obvious where we should enter either. Yeah, our Dingo can probably get a bit of an update, since with 48 we might actually get age penalties simply because of the age of the car. Minivans, they don't sell. I don't think they are wanted either. 40 Phaetons, so that's for a niche group. We own the pickup truck market. Roadster and Roadster 2+2, it doesn't seem to be the biggest market. Sedan, yeah, we own that. Shooting brake, again, I don't think this is a big market. No sports car, so that's probably something. Plenty of station wagons. Subcompact, it's okay, but there are probably better options for us out there. Touring is nice, I think similar to the coupe. A bit worse, so Touring would probably 3rd thing. And I think by now the Touring is the open full-size sedan essentially. So the open 2-row car. Not its own model, but more like the convertible, as we would say these days. No one wants a tone car, and vans, there are plenty of them there. So if we want to have it easy, coupe as a variant of the medium wheelbase car, Touring as a variant of the long wheelbase car, but that's now getting a bit old in terms of platform, or a brand new sports car. And I think I'm going for a sports car, simply because nothing on the market is always a good reason to enter a market. How do they look like? Simply to get an idea what kind of on which kind of platform to put them. So sports car, this doesn't matter at all. So either this, which is more like a sort of coupe thing, sporty sedan, these are huge, or these Austin Healey-like things, and I think that's something that might be worth going for, because I suspect they have much better aero. Drag coefficient 0.35, and this has drag coefficient 0.46. Yeah, so if we want to go for high speed, then these are great. Here is more of these large sedans. Yeah, and this type, and that's it. So let's build something like this. So it's probably something like a 2.2 meter, even a bit smaller than our medium platform. And it would, what do they want? What do we have to focus on? That's easy. Performance, handling, power. So we're going to build a performance-oriented chassis. And we need a powerful engine. And that's it. And that's, I think, something we can do. So new chassis. And from now on, I think most, if not all things, will be unibody. Front engine rear-wheel drive, or what else? Front mid-engine rear-wheel drive gives a little bit better drivability. It's a bit better in weight, but much more expensive. So let's see how big the difference is between those. Everything else is probably not that suitable, and this needs a front engine based on how the car body looks. Front suspension double wishbone, rear suspension could go for something more fancy than leaf spring, although I think some of the cars back then, sports cars, had rear leaf spring. Swing axle maybe? Has better stats and it's still pretty cheap. Let's see what difference that makes. Trailing arm? That trailing arm is worse. So this would be the expensive option, and yeah, we can go a bit to town, since we can now be a bit less frugal. So 2.2 meters, doesn't have to be large. Doesn't have to be that wide here either. Strength, frame height affects strength. Do they care about safety? Probably not. No, no safety. 1 star, 1 yellow star. So keep it short, can keep it a bit leaner too. Engine length. Yeah, that's probably the key thing. What's the engine that we make the engine fit in here? So let's start with an engine, in fact, and build the chassis around the engine. So we can probably redesign something around what we have. So current engine make 78 horsepower, so we need something faster. Let's go for 100. Can we go for 100 with our engines if we keep it 4-cylinder? So here we were pretty passive, tame in terms of revolutions. So let's rev it higher. Yeah, that's easily above 100. Now let's... So what would a useful engine size be that we can probably also put into something else? So we have 1.4, 2.3, and the 2-cylinder that only works in our microcar, so it doesn't really count anymore. So I have something in the middle, so that we sort of split this 2.3 liter into two. One focusing on power for the sports car and maybe the full-size sedan, I don't know. And one focusing on torque for the ute and the pickup, and also maybe for the full-size. That will be an interesting thing. So we get torque through displacement. So this one we can make this one here maybe a bit with lower displacement, and of course over square, because we want to have it rev. So something like a 2-liter over square, and we can get above 100. Can probably skimp a bit on torque. Maybe a bit more bore, a bit less stroke. Doesn't really change things, but let's let it rev. So 105, we can, I think fuel economy doesn't really matter. What we can do is maybe put a bit more effort on technology. So here's 107. Material quality affects reliability, a little bit of performance for a lot more money. Component quality, same story, more smoothness, which we don't really need here. Technology gives a little bit more smoothness, a bit less reliability for a little bit more power. So maybe some material quality and technology together. Manufacturing techniques, same story, much more smoothness, so we don't really need that. So 108 through better technology, bit focus on performance. Why do I get less engine overall? Ah, because this affects reliability. Can I get 110? And then some extra reliability. Fuel economy. That doesn't affect. So 110. Would this fit the medium chassis? Yes, it would. So we can keep the engine as it is, and we don't have to worry too much with the an even smaller chassis. That should be easily could easily fit. So the duration 11 months for 650,000, 10 months for 800,000, 11 to 9 months for 1 million. So 10 months. That seems to be a good sweet spot. Can we make material cost 300? Just because. So here, that's the nice sweet spot in terms of torque. 110 horsepower is what we want. We simply rev this thing to the moon. What would be the result for our sports car? Is this sporty enough? So let's put it onto the medium frame and yeah, use maybe first the generic gearbox. So that's probably the that's the lowest aero drag body. That's the one we want. Top speed 170. This probably has some room to change with other gearboxes. 173 and 186. Yeah, I think that's definitely sporty enough for 1955. So that works. 2-liter power-focused engine. So if I reduce dependability, yeah, so that I'm getting the 31 overall engine rating, if that affects anything. Where are we now in terms of our skills? 37. Yeah, so I'm not sure why we are not making great engines. We were able to make great gearboxes and we were able to make great chassis so that we get these free skill increases. I'm not sure why engine is capped here. At effectively 31, but anyway, that's how it is. Does the length and width affect anything? No, it just makes things way more expensive. So we're down to 9 months. That's interesting. So 9 months, 824. 10 months, 649. Yeah, let's go for 9. Probably this small tick on dependability now did the trick of what we did last. So 110 horsepower. How much extra torque can we get? How does this affect things? That's acceleration probably. 17.1 seconds. 17.6 seconds. Ah, that affects some things. So maybe more torque and still a bit less power, so that we say simply ring 17.5, 186, and this was 17.6, 186, so it doesn't really matter that much. And this is just 3 more torque for a lot more money. Yeah, so that's our engine. Over square. I think our first or so. A we need the revs. So, inline 4, 1995 cc, and that's the power version. The other one gets then the torque version. So that's what we can build. And we can easily design a chassis around that. So, not Superleggera, unibody. Let's play around with the drivetrains. Double wishbone front, swing axle rear, if that makes a difference. Does the engine fit? The 110 horsepower. So 2.2 meters. It's not these weren't large, but narrow. Not that high. Don't care about safety. Can make it a bit leaner. So engine length, engine width. With the 2.3 liter fit, yeah, so that doesn't seem to be a problem. Narrow, sorry, other way around. Yeah, okay, here we're getting problems, but that's is not that expensive to make the engine base simply larger. So this fits here, and the 2.3 liter, if we ever want to put it in here, would also work. Yeah, so then let's keep the engine bay like this. The rest, let's see what it would mean to focus on performance and maybe a bit durability. And what do the quality sliders actually do for us here. We haven't needed them so far at all. So braking, of course, I think is a no-brainer. It gives a lot of performance for not that much money. So I'm keeping them here now that, well, I think we're sort of fine. We want to have 9 months. Let's first sort out this. So performance to maximum. Stability trades comfort for performance. So maybe that we keep performance to 65. Ride comfort is fine. Can we squeeze out some more performance? Not really. This doesn't do that much. So 66 if we have 4 stars. What does material quality do? Give it a little bit of everything. Makes things lighter. Component quality. Makes stuff better. Technology. Makes stuff better but lowers reliability, and manufacturing techniques makes things lighter and stronger. So let's go for material quality to make things lighter somewhat. 68 performance. And add a little bit of material quality of manufacturing techniques. So component quality, because that makes it lighter again. And adds also some dependability. Still within 9 months. Some extra dependability. Maybe a little bit so that we get... Can we get 4 stars? Not really. That probably doesn't really matter. This is pretty cheap. So something like this. So everything has 3.5 stars, performance has 4 stars. And we are at the limit of what 10 months is. So 9 months. This is expensive enough, 1.2 million. 1.1 million. I don't want to, don't probably have to go overboard with this, so we can keep these then lower again. Now, maybe get some weight advantage. How much does weight affect things? Well, this is actually pretty substantial. One other thing, of course, is it worth to go FMR over FR? So it's slightly more expensive. It's engine length. that's affected. So in terms of stats, this doesn't really do that much. Getting one more performance, we get a bit more comfort. It's only on one as well. So I'd say not really. It makes things cheaper to make and cheaper to design by quite a bit. So FR is fine. Rear axle. Okay, yeah, that makes a difference. Leaf spring versus swing axle has a lot of three performance. How about trailing arm? 66. So even that's a bit of an advantage. So swing axle 213. Trailing arm is more expensive. That's not really worth it. So trailing arm is genuinely worse than swing axle. Double wishbone would be way more expensive, but also way better. Don't think we need to be that much better. So I think swing axle is fine, but we don't need front medium engine rear wheel drive. So we can probably then readjust engine length. Now this I think is okay. Yeah, so we probably can fit everything that we want in here. So 200, and I think we now shaved those 100,000 in project cost that we don't really need. Does this affect duration? Nope, duration is the same. Oh, and here we can reduce performance focus since it doesn't seem to make a difference. So still 67, that's I think okay. Can add some ride comfort for not free, but almost free. So 51 on that. So that shall be our chassis. 9 months. 836,000, I think that's better than the 1.1 million for not much worse outcomes. So, engine fits. How does it look for the sports car now that we have the engine as well? And we have to play around simply with gearboxes. 180. Come on. And 15.0 with this gearbox. 184. 19.9. That's a long acceleration, but that's the other gearbox. 17 points. Yeah. Come on, show me the right body. There we go. 16.9 seconds. I think that's better than the other estimation. Okay, so that's our... just one final thing. I think that we haven't checked that before. So road hold here is 1.24 with this leaf spring. 1.27 or 1.26. So that also makes this kind of difference. So yeah, we're getting a fair bit of more performance. Everything else is torsion beam. Just curious, what does this do? 214 is more expensive than the swing axle. The engine is expensive enough, but this is a big difference in terms of performance. So yeah, let's use one with the swing axle and see what happens. All right, so that's our chassis. 2.2 meters, unibody 1 performance in 9 months. And new gearbox. So we're giving it full speed with overdrive, not transaxle, full speed with overdrive. If overdrive makes a difference, let's see. So fits the engine, chassis, engine that I can play around with things. So manual 4-speed for sports car. So I suspect we don't want fuel economy, we want torque. 15.6 seconds. If I increase this, 16.5, yeah, so low end gearing here. I think here we don't need that much extra. This is reliability, but that's not that much of a problem. Does this affect things? 15.4. Make this higher. 15.5. So I think that's could be weight. High end gearing. 188 is nice. Still 188, 15.4. But this doesn't really change things. $188, 15.5. So this has hardly any effect. So this gearbox is also worse than our skill, so that doesn't really matter. Does performance effects change something? Makes it lighter. Yeah, 15.3, so that makes it a little bit of a difference. Not that much probably, so let's have a little bit of a performance focus. Material quality changes everything a little bit, makes it lighter, so let's put in a little bit of that. Component quality doesn't change weight. Technology, some more performance, less reliability. So if I were to go with this, any effect? 15.4, 15.3. That's probably all very minor. 15.376, yeah, that doesn't change things. Manufacturing techniques, some more performance. And I think that's it, so we can leave it here as well. 205. I think the performance focus is nice due to weight advantages. Does overdrive change something? 10.9 liter, 15.5. Somehow it doesn't change anything. It makes things more reliable and cheaper. So then we don't give him an overdrive. And 9 months. 200, yeah, I think that's a nice round value. And that's going to be our 4-speed manual reverse gear and power. So that's, I think we had added the engine, yeah, so that's the 20i4. So that's built for the 2-liter inline 4 power version. Okay. So that's our sports car. So let's then double check whether we put everything into production that we want. So we have 1.5 Wallaroos. And it's on sale for a nice value. And we have our sports car in the works. One other thing that's probably worth doing. Let me just double check. Dingo. Because it's from 1948. Do we get an age penalty on this? Oh, we're selling to everyone who can afford one. Nice. Yeah, we're getting an age penalty, so then we simply give our Dingo another overhaul. So our big team works on the sports car, and the small team I simply have in my head cannon to simulate engineering capacity, because the game lets you do an infinite amount of stuff in parallel, I think. And you would simply hire and fire engineers. So Chassis, we already had modified that, and yeah, you see it's 10 years old, so stats are dropping. Have we updated the gearbox at some point? So that's the... yeah, that's this gearbox. I think we had. Budget is pretty high for these, so we simply, yeah, give a minor facelift to the car. So new generation of Dingo. The material cost 350. This is 510. Okay, so that's maybe something we should have done a while ago. Simply give it a facelift to have reduced material cost. Lower middle I think fits well. Anything? Yeah, 58, more reliability. So we can actually change fuel economy, and we actually get a bonus for that. Nice. So let's do that. Reliability and fuel economy. So what are we getting? 6.3. And what did we have before? 6.4. But even that gives another score in the specific ranking, which I think is what we want. Bit of quality. Oh, more material quality makes it worse. Funny. Haven't seen that before. So we'll then leave things as they are, and yeah, we don't probably 364. Yeah, so one extra reliability even. Market demographic. Here actually makes things a little bit better. I think that's where we can squeeze out one more dependability, and that makes the difference. Okay, so then we leave it here. Performance. Yeah, maybe even some extra performance. They want a little bit of handling. Comfortability doesn't do anything. Utility doesn't do anything either. Okay, so that's our new Dingo. 4 months is fine. Does 104. 6.3 liter fuel economy. And has a great stat. So new Dingo A. Okay, so then both our R&D teams are busy that we simply have in our head. So the big team on the new sports car underpinnings, and the small team doing the update, the refresh for the Dingo. Then let's see what happens. Missed sales? Wow, the Wallaroo is selling like hotcakes. And the Emu also. Good thing we got the Melbourne upgrade. So then we have to work around that. We can sunset the Dingo, because we have plenty of reserves for that one. So a few less Dingos. And it's not the best seller. We might not have a Dingo B for the foreseeable future. Wallaroos. How many Wallaroos can I make in Melbourne? Plenty. And I need that. Can I make 4,200 Wallaroos in Melbourne? I can. So then I can give some lines in Melbourne back, which I'm going to in Sydney back, which I'm also going to need. So 507,000 emus. Flatback is selling off reserves. More Kangaroo A's. Can I make it more expensive? Probably. Wombat is fine. Grand Kangaroo selling off reserves, so make the Kangaroo A bit more expensive. So what were our unit costs? Low 200s. So with the sports car, yeah, we will probably sell it pretty well since we're the only one on the market. It's still a while, but we're running out of production space again. So for the foreseeable future, so Sydney is probably pretty mental at the moment in terms of factory. So upgrade, yeah, if we want to have 5 more lines, that's 60 million. If I want to redesign the whole factory, that's probably something like 60 million. Well, okay, it's 120, but still. One factory plus versus 4 more lines. So that's something we might have to do at some point, but I think we should do that in Melbourne. How much extra is of... Yeah, one more line, 12 million is insanity. So we can simply make Melbourne quite a bit larger and more technology. So that it's finished in... I don't think we need that much more technology, but anyway. So 4 more lines. 5 more lines. So everything we... Okay, so that's then 6 more lines finished in 3 years and 3 months. So we have a good jump in capacity. Cost 82 million. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. We have a cash flow of 5 million. So let's have Melbourne grow alongside. So let's see how the Wallaroo sells. Okay, Kangaroo A gets a new production line. Funny, we increase the price and we have more sales. Oh, people license our emu. Very nice. Contract requests. I think they're now always worth checking since we have a competitive pickup and that's something armies want. Yeah. The Switzerland army, they want the flatback, not the emu, but anyway. Yeah, but that's the pickup. So the other car manufacturers wanted to have the emu. So we can make a bid, and we can make a cheap bid. So 11.99 for our pickup truck. So submit offer to the Swiss army. So here things are going fine. So Kangaroo A gets one more factory production line. So 200. Yeah, let's build some reserves. So microcar is in sunset. 5 emus. Flatpack is good. 3 wombats. Compact car works pretty well. That's another production line. Yeah, we have hardly any space for a sports car. But anyway. Grand Kangaroo 3.9. Another production line. Sydney is full. Maybe we're going to get some competition at some point in the next 7 plus 13, the next 20 months. Funny when you start hoping for competition. So microcar next month, so I can essentially stop production. And see how the new Dingo will do. 5,300 emus. Flatback is still fine. 2,000 kangaroos. Wombat is good. Kangaroo, that's a 2,400 LXs. That's a pretty higher level of reserves. Can we start reducing that? 3.8 Grand Kangaroo A. Wallaroo is fine. 4,200. That's wow. 8.7 million cash flow. So all Dingo A's are gone. Long live the Dingo A. Let's put it into production. So one line, 531. Yeah, it didn't sell that well. So Sydney. So yeah, Apeston has some, and the old one was pretty good. So ours is now cheaper to make, so we can try to win on price. And whoa, that has an insane type rating. And we're still selling to everyone. So then can make it slightly more expensive even. So let's see what difference this makes. What I'm going to do to avoid lost sales, let's just see how much we make in excess. Otherwise, let's stop production of the old one. What does the press say about the new Dingo? It's not every day you get to drive a new automobile, and Australis believes that the Dingo A may be the best microcar to enter the market. How does it compare to other microcars? You really get a sense of speed, so the engine is perky, and they love the 47 seconds 0 to 100 and the top speed. And they also like the torque, apparently. It's not that drivable. Mortified in terms of interior testing. It's a tight squeeze. We have done good QA. It is designed with longevity in mind. They love the fuel economy. And it isn't the safest, but it's safer than most, so they really like it. Is it still the most fuel efficient thing? No, the Owly 9861 beat us, but at least we had this for a while, and we still have the lightest and the smallest from our very first own car, so that's cool. Do we need to give anything else a quick makeover at this point? The Emu maybe, but at the same time it's the only one on the market, right? Yeah, so as soon as we get competition, we give it a makeover, but not before. So we get 5 months till the new sports car platform. How does our new Dingo do? Nope, doesn't sell more than before. More flatbacks. So we can reduce Dingo to 1. So that wasn't really worth it. That's simply not a market at all. So flatback 1.4. Less emus. You can work with the production lines a little bit. So Kangaroo 1.7. Wombats 3.1. LX, this is fine. Just adjusted the Dingo. Grand Kangaroo is fine, and Wallaroo is not fine. 4 or 5 Wallaroos. Stuff in 4. New factory in 3 years. Way more emus. 6-2. Flatback is good. 2-1 Kangaroo A's. I think we're due for some price increases. 3-6 Wombats. 2-7 LXs. Again at the limit. Dingo sells well. So it took a bit of a wake up. More Grand Kangaroos. Wallaroo's good. So we're actually at the limit. Yeah, so the worst case, once the sports car is ready, I'll simply have to yank up the prices and therefore have less demand. So 5-5 emus. Flatback is good. Kangaroo is good. 3-2 Wombats. LX is fine. Dingo is still fine. Can make the Dingo a bit more expensive. Three 8 Grand Kangaroos. Wallaroo is good. So I think this was a record year, since we are now half December, so it will be very interesting to see the figures for next year. More Wombats. More Grand Kangaroos. New contract requests, nothing for us. Oh, we have now a lot of best stuff in the company, in the country. Competition overseas. So 4-2 Grand Kangaroos. That's probably more than plenty. More Wombats. Less Wallaroos, 4-1. Okay, so new year. How were we doing and how's everyone else doing? This is now almost our first year with no pre-war stuff on the market. Research complete. Okay, so we can build our sports car too. So more dingoes. We're actually selling that off. Just giving a quick... Nah, it's okay. So... Top sales. The Emu. Our Ute. 6-4. That's... top of the second page. Very neat. Probably nothing in all time. No. But probably all time in Ute. Wow, our two Utes, yeah. So that's Australia for you, I guess. Company directory. Who's making losses? Well, they bought a mark and they have plenty of cash to do that. Same here. So still fair number of companies making a loss. Also plenty of companies making a big profit, and that's a nice consolidation. Where are we? Tons of marks under one name, 7.6. So we are on the second page. Yeah. 261. Yeah, so probably... No, we're still on the first page actually, because I think mainly because here are all these marks that are now being consolidated. How's our image doing? That's I think another interesting thing. 44, 45, 35, 50. So we're on the second page overall. On the first page, so worst, on the last page, so to speak, for luxury. Performance, we were actually not that bad. What do we have? 35. 35. So performance is actually pretty good. Very good actually. And quality was 60, I think. No. Quality was 50. That was optimistic there. But still, end of the second to last page. That's not too bad. Okay, then let's build our sports car. And after that, it will be time to re-engineer then the short wheelbase platform. So new chassis, performance oriented. New engine, performance oriented. New gearbox, performance oriented. Let's pick the right body. So this one, that one. Do they actually differ? 519, 14.8, 0 to 100. This is slower to 100. So this seems to be, because this is a bit smaller. So that's it. That's our sports car. Hang on. Do we have competition in the meantime, by the way? We haven't really done anything. Nope. So we don't really have to worry about making it really brilliant, and the underpinnings are very sports focused, so don't have to fret over making the best possible. At least there is one that is actually half decent. They don't really like luxury, so we can keep these things rather low. They also don't like safety. It's not even that expensive to make. High project cost, but I think that's now simply normal for the time. So definitely for male, definitely for upper middle, and I think also the age range is fine. Dependability, I think we work with that. Market demographic actually makes things better now, but we probably don't need to ask people what they want. So performance, I think, is a no-brainer. 48, yeah. They want some reliability. 40 overall. 49, yeah. So handling, power, performance, some quality. No, this doesn't do anything. So that's our sports car. I think we can take our time with it, and it has a lot of project costs. When do we need to be ready? So the 45 chassis gets age penalties that we can't anything do about in 1960. So the car takes over a year. So 1959, 1958. So we could actually take something like 2 years and it's still fine. So then let's make it 16 months. 1.5, 1.6 million, 15 months, 1.7 million, 14 million, 14 months, so 2 million. Yeah, I think that's okay. Market demographic would still make things better. That's rare. Cost 1,237. I think that's our most expensive car that we have. No, the Wallaroo is actually even more expensive, interestingly. The Wallaroo is, so the a 2+2 is more expensive to make than our full-size sedan. That's interesting. Why is that? Put the big engine and the small gearbox into the medium wheelbase car. No, anyway. But at the same time, it's not that expensive either. So final ratings. Under 14 seconds to 100, top speed 183. So that's great. So let's put it into production. What do we call it? So what's Australian, sleek and fast? Call it the Thylacine, which is the Tasmanian tiger. And yes, it's been extinct in 1956, but I think it's still typical. So let's use this name for our sports car. Ready in 14 months. Otherwise, I think now is a good time to end the episode, because not much is going to happen. So we sort of hope that we get more competition in the next 14 months so that we actually have some factory space to produce the sports car. Otherwise, we simply have to jack up the prices. I'm not reconditioning. Well, I probably could actually do the reconditioning as the last thing now, and then hope that additional manufacturing capability outstrips additional demand. And whether this will be the case or not is then something for the next episode. See you then.